Before iron wheels reshaped the world, humanity was imprisoned by the speed of horse hooves and mud. For thousands of years, the limit of human mobility lay solely in the muscle and endurance of animals. Cities were drowning in the logistics of the past, crying out for a mechanical savior. But the boundary of human engineering was about to break. A spark was waiting to be ignited. It operated on a simple yet revolutionary principle, converting controlled fire into continuous mechanical rotation. Every revolution begins with a line drawn in defiance of the impossible. With less than 1 horsepower, this crude combination of iron and oil was the birth of automated freedom. It had no steering wheel, no roof, and traveled no faster than a brisk walk. Yet, it was unstoppable. The mechanical assembly was raw and exposed, a direct manifestation of human ingenuity conquering distance.
It was the dawn of the automotive era.
Every breakdown on the road was a lesson that refined the machine, turning an experiment into a reliable tool. The horse tracks that had defined human pathways for millennia were slowly being replaced by the signature of the wheel. These new mechanical beasts. Competition became the crucible of engineering, forcing cars to become faster, stronger, and more resilient. With speed came the necessity for control, driving the invention of advanced braking and steering mechanisms. Petroleum, once a useless byproduct, suddenly became the lifeblood of human transit. By the turn of the century, the automobile had conquered the night, proving it could operate regardless of time or visibility.
Yet,
each vehicle was handcrafted over several months, an expensive masterpiece reserved only for the ultra-rich. This slow, artisan manufacturing method limited the automobile's potential to liberate the global working class.
The old-world methods of coach building could not match the growing human hunger for speed and distance.
To change everything, manufacturing had to shift from the artisan's touch to the raw power of heavy metallurgy. In 1908, Ford introduced the moving assembly line, a monumental shift that shook the foundations of global industry. Instead of workers moving around a stationary car, the car moved to the workers, unlocking unprecedented efficiency.
Every worker was assigned a single, optimized action. Scented with grease, human labor was synchronized with iron machinery.
Production times plummeted. Ford's famous dictum came to life. You could have any color. At the end of the 19th century, the automobile was not a tool for transit. It was a loud, expensive statement of absolute privilege.
Shape dictated function. Cars completely mimicked the luxury horse carriages.
Manufacturing was agonizingly slow. Every gear, piston, and lever was forged and filed individually by hand, turning engineering into custom art.
There were no round steering wheels. Early control systems relied on complex vertical tillers, demanding active mechanical intuition from the driver.
Rich owners rarely drove their own machines. The early automobile created a new class of specialized labor, the mechanical chauffeur. The bionics of early engineering were primitive. Designers struggled to balance the extreme weight of cast iron with the fragile nature of wooden structures. Pneumatic tires were a rare luxury. Early cars rode on solid rubber or pure iron bands. The car was a mobile stage for high society, transforming urban mobility into a continuous parade of vanity and wealth.
the turn of the century was a battleground of ideas. Electricity, steam, and
open mechanisms required constant human intervention. Engines literally bled oil onto the road, requiring oiling every few miles. Steam cars were quiet and powerful, but they required a literal boiler explosion hazard right behind the passenger cabin. Comfort was built on artisan terms. The interior design was identical to a rich Victorian parlor, featuring heavy velvet, gold tassels. Early electric cars were highly popular among wealthy urban women, praised for their absolute silence and lack of filthy exhaust fumes. Driving at night was an extreme hazard. Headlights were actual open gas flames, easily extinguished by a sudden gust of wind. Cities were structurally unsuited for the machine. The ancient layout of streets rejected the speed and footprint of motorized transit. Every machine was a prototype. Without standardized parts, a broken drive chain meant a custom replacement had to be forged from scratch.
A new leisure subculture emerged, the gentleman driver. Speed became a sport, a thrilling rebellion.
Safety glass did not exist. A simple loose stone from a horse hoof could shatter a windscreen into deadly glass shards. The engine slowly migrated from underneath the seats to the front of the vehicle, defining the classic three-box silhouette we recognize today.
The infrastructure was a disaster. Beyond
Mechanical. Internal combustion relied on atmospheric pressure to open valves, an inefficient method that limited true engine power. The car solidified class lines. It became a mobile island of exclusion, separating the ultra-wealthy from the dirty reality of the public street. Precision was a human calculation, not a digital one. A single millimeter error by a tired craftsman could ruin a whole engine block. 20 miles per hour felt like supersonic velocity in a world that had moved at the speed of walking for 10,000 years. Materials were a major bottleneck. Designers relied on leather belts and wooden blocks for power transmission, materials that failed under heavy stress. The automobile was treated like a family crown jewel, customized down to the smallest detail to reflect the owner pedigree.
Efficiency was non-existent. Early internal combustion engines converted less than 10% of fuel energy into actual motion.
By 1905, the horseless carriage had proven its permanence. The playground of the elite,
as long as it was black. The assembly time of a single automobile dropped drastically from 12 hours down to just 93 minutes.
As production skyrocketed, the cost of the automobile collapsed, making ownership a reality for the common worker.
Mass production did more than build cars. It created the modern middle class and redefined human wages.
Millions of Model Ts rolled out across the globe, dismantling the isolation of rural life forever. The weekend was born. Families could now travel farther in an hour than their ancestors could in a week.
Control was simple, rugged, and designed to conquer the primitive dirt roads of a pre-modern world.
To accommodate the rising empire of the wheel, humanity began paving the face of the earth with asphalt.
Urban landscapes transformed overnight. Parking spaces, traffic lights, and suburbs grew around the car. A vast new infrastructure emerged, anchoring the global economy to the distribution of liquid energy.
The automotive industry became an scale. The automobile had successfully transitioned from a rare invention to the primary engine of global economic growth. Innovations focused on accessibility, allowing anyone, regardless of physical strength, to operate a vehicle. Its
comfort and interior design became the new battlegrounds as the automobile evolved into a second home. The shape of human civilization changed. Suburbs flourished because the car allowed humans to live far from where they worked. With billions of miles traveled, the automobile had permanently redefined the human relationship with space and time.
An entire generation grew up learning the language of internal combustion, training a global workforce of mechanics.
As reliability became standard, humanity turned its attention back to the true thrill of the wheel, setting the stage for a new era of high-performance machines. Ownership became a symbol of personal identity, status, and the ultimate expression of individual freedom. The world was now completely bound to the automobile. But the coming decades would push these machines to break limits never imagined.
By the 1930s, cars were no longer mere motorized boxes. They became rolling sculptures of speed and aerodynamics.
Science entered the design studio, utilizing the laws of physics to slice through wind resistance.
For the elite, cars became an expression of luxury. blending high art with extreme mechanical refinement.
Civilization demanded specialized pathways built entirely for speed without limits, the birth of the superhighway. Forced induction engines pushed mechanical limits, squeezing massive horsepower out of steel cylinders. Automobiles became the fastest ground vehicles on Earth, challenging boundaries that once belonged to aviation. When global conflict erupted, the automobile was militarized, shifting focus from speed to ultimate durability.
Machines like the Jeep redefined off-road logistics, proving that four wheels could conquer any terrain on Earth. The crucible of war standardized heavy manufacturing, creating technologies that would flood the post-war consumer market. The post-war boom turned the car into the ultimate symbol of prosperity, domestic comforts, and family life.
An entire cultural lifestyle formed around the automobile, celebrating freedom, youth, and neon-lit design.
Europe focused on lightweight agility, transforming driving from a basic chore into an exhilarating art form.
The bond between driver and machine reached a peak of physical and tactile perfection. In America, the muscle car era exploded, putting raw, unrestricted horsepower into the hands of ordinary drivers.
Motorsport pushed mechanical thresholds to the absolute edge, testing engines under 24 hours of brutal stress.
Human reaction times were stretched to the absolute limit by the ferocious velocity of modern engineering.
But this unbridled speed demanded a new era of responsibility. The industry shifted focus toward human survival.
Crumple zones, seatbelts, and airbags transformed the car from a beautiful hazard into a secure safety capsule. The oil crises of the 1970s forced a drastic engineering pivot. Cars had to become smaller, lighter, and highly efficient. Computers entered the engine bay, replacing mechanical carburetors with digital fuel precision. Digital design software was introduced, allowing cars to be perfected in virtual space before physical steel was cast. The 80s saw the rise of intelligent all-wheel drive systems, conquering untamed roads with computer assistance.
Suspension systems became highly adaptive, absorbing brutal impacts while keeping power planted firmly on the ground.
An era of digital reliability and tuning supremacy emerged, proving high performance could be daily and reliable. Engines became self-optimizing, adjusting their internal architecture in real time to balance raw power with low emissions. The global supply chain reached absolute maturity, delivering millions of high-tech vehicles to every corner of the Earth. The car began connecting directly to space satellites, linking human travel to a global digital map network. But as the century closed, the environmental cost of fossil fuels forced researchers to seek a clean alternative. The internal combustion engine had successfully motorized humanity. Now, it was time to give the machine an independent mind. Welcome to the present. The traditional factory is gone, replaced by giant press welders are succeeded by advanced cybernetic arms, crafting vehicles with sub-millimeter structural precision. Chemistry and automated physics merge to create flawless protective layers that resist the harshest elements. The manufacturing heart of the automobile has migrated from iron foundries to sterile chemical gigafactories. The old pistons, spark plugs, and fuel tanks are entirely replaced by a singular, massive platform of electrical storage. Modern design has achieved near-perfect fluid efficiency, minimizing air friction to preserve every drop of digital energy. With only a fraction of the moving parts of a gas engine, electric motors unleash instant, brutal torque in complete. Stations are turning into silent digital hubs, drawing clean power directly from the sun. Human effort is being completely removed from the equation, creating a seamless ecosystem of automated transit. As cities grow denser, the roar of combustion fades away, replaced by the quiet glide of electric mobility.
The machine has developed its own eyes, Sensors scan the environment 1,000,000 times per second in 3 dimensions. Car processes more data every minute than early space shuttles did across an entire mission.
The ancient burden of driving is dissolving. Artificial intelligence has stepped behind the wheel.
Safety is no longer a passive structure of metal. It is an active shield governed by machine consciousness.
The interior has become a smart sanctuary, monitoring human health and mood in real time.
The windshield has evolved into an interactive portal, merging physical reality with real-time global data.
Vehicles no longer act as isolated units. They talk to each other, creating a coordinated flow of urban traffic. Mechanical bumps are neutralized by electromagnetic computing before they ever reach the human spine. Unforgiving weather conditions are conquered by instant algorithm calibrations across all 4 tires. Even deceleration is repurposed, turning braking energy into fresh battery range to feed the grid.
Physical buttons are disappearing, replacing mechanical touch with spatial gesture commands.
Before entering production, modern vehicles endure brutal digital and physical endurance tests across extreme climates.
Thermal management is critical, relying on advanced fluid dynamics to safeguard the vehicle energy storage core. The acceleration is seamless and continuous, entirely freeing human travel from the delay of gears. True modern luxury has shifted from heavy carbon footprint materials to planet-friendly circular engineering. Charging is becoming invisible, passing energy effortlessly through magnetic fields in the ground.
Safety standards have surpassed human capability, executing life-saving evasive action in milliseconds.
The soul of the vehicle resides within silicon chips, rendering it an adaptive, living piece of software. Performance is harmonized with nature, leaving nothing behind but quiet footprints on the road. Materials have become dynamic, changing their physical properties to protect human occupants from solar radiation. Logistics and trade have transformed into a highly organized, automated system powered by clean energy grids.
The machine shapes itself to the air, continuously morphing its exterior configuration to maximize transit efficiency. From a crude 3-wheel motor carriage to a rolling supercomputer, the automobile has successfully liberated human labor. The future will dismantle the limits of the ground, shifting automotive engineering directly into traffic lights, and accidents will become ancient history as swarm intelligence governs every wheel in perfect unison. Advanced biomaterials will allow vehicles to self-heal their structures, acting more like living organisms than cold iron machinery. From Karl Benz's first spark of fire to the endless horizons of tomorrow, the story of the automobile remains